everybody. Great to have you on this call. There's a couple of new names that I see. So if you are here for the first time, just type in for me on for the first time. That'll be great to know who's come up for the first time. So one of the things, and I think Marlon probably explained this to you, but one of the things that I really like making these calls is into something that you want to learn. So, on a previous call, I talked about teaching. A lot of teachers teach what they know, or teach what they want somebody else to know, which is great when you're very clear on what other people need to know. But in a setting like this, it's key to, I believe, to teach what is it that you need to know? What is it that you're struggling with? So I'm going to ask you just, type in a couple of questions around what are areas around sales, around entrepreneurship that potentially I can add some light to, work with you around, and answer some of those questions. So if you will, just apply your mind for sort of 30 seconds and type in a question or two that you would like me to touch on tonight. So while you're doing that, Marlon said we had a little bit of a speed bump last week, Tuesday. For me, it wasn't really a speed bump. The reason we didn't have a webinar is I was very privileged. I was hosting Robert Kiyosaki and Tom Wheelwright in a evening event or an afternoon and an evening event that I was running for about 60 people that are part of our training program called Awaken Your Financial Genius. So it really was a fascinating evening around money, wealth, and really where the world's economy potentially is going. How many of you were at the Business Investor Summit last weekend and heard Robert Kiyosaki and Tom Wheelwright speak? Just type in for me there if you can. Excellent. So Tucker was there. Great. What was your biggest takeaway from that, Tucker? What was your takeaway? Okay, so while he's typing, so any questions around sales or entrepreneurship that I can work on for you guys this evening? Just type those questions in. So while you're doing that, one of the things that I wanted to talk on tonight is a thing called cold calling. So how many of you are a little bit concerned about going out and making cold calls? How many of you think that's the last thing that you would ever want to do in order to grow your business? Well, those of you that have been in my Sales Explosion program or the Sales and Leadership Mastery program, you'll know that one of the things that I talk about is when you have a small to medium-sized business and you really want to start generating some quick momentum, one of the quickest ways to do it is to get out and start making some cold calls. So in terms of making those cold calls, it's getting out and getting in front of some customers. So how many of you in the next 6 weeks could do with 10 to 15 new customers. Okay, so DeLeon says me, very quick on the mark. Either it's me or me dreads. Okay, good. So how many of you are really pumping a big social media campaign, using things like Facebook, LinkedIn, and all that, email campaign to generate a whole lot of leads? But what you're finding is either the leads are taking too long to come in, or you got to go through a process of trying to weed out who's who. Well, one of the things that I say is this: while you're waiting for that whole lead engine to pay dividends and to start generating leads, one of the quickest ways is to get off your butt, get your butt out of your chair, out of your office, and start making some cold calls. So I'm going to chat now about what it takes to make a cold call. Okay, so there's a couple of steps. The first step is you've got to have good energy. Okay, so you'll know this: highest energy always wins. So when it comes to selling, it is essential to drive. It is essential to drive energy. It's essential to have the right level of energy in order to be able to get through the fears that are holding you back. Because for many people, how do you realize? For many people, the key thing behind a cold call is just the little voice. Because if I asked you to, and I don't know, just Tucker's going to write a book called, I'm going to write a book called That Call. Well, Tucker, it could be that call or those calls. The question is, how many are you prepared to make? But when you get out, the number one thing that holds most people back is that little voice. That little voice of fear, that little voice of what are people going to say, that little voice of walking in and speaking to strangers, that little voice says, I don't know what I need to say. So how many of you ever woken up or gone to bed on a Sunday night, for example, and had a whole plan that tomorrow morning I'm either going to get on the phone or I'm going to go to that business park and I'm going to start calling on people. You have a list all written out and ready to get on that phone, because cold calls on the phone and cold calls in person are very similar. The same problems that we have to overcome. So you get all ready. What happens? You get into the office or you sit down at your desk on a Monday, and suddenly emails look very appealing. Suddenly the coffee pot starts calling your name. Suddenly, I don't know, Facebook that you haven't touched for a couple of days seems really important. Suddenly, I don't know, repairing the broken latch on your office door is really important, but you haven't had to do it for the last 3 weeks. How many of you realize that a lot of those little voice excuses start coming up? You get to the end of Monday, you justify why you haven't been able to do it, and that goes into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, get to Friday, and the plan is next week I'm really going to get it done. But you know what? I was really, really busy. So how many of you can connect with that? So the first step is you got to be able to get through that little voice. So one, you got to prepare yourself in advance. So if you're going to do it on a Monday, you have to prepare yourself in advance. Get ready on a Sunday evening, plan it, visualize it, get it in your mind that tomorrow I am going to go out. And what I suggest to a lot of people is make it the first thing you do. If you've got kids, take your kids to school and then go straight from dropping them off, or if you go to gym, straight from gym to wherever you're going to make the cold calls and go get it done. Okay. Set yourself a very distinct time. Say, right, I'm going to take 2 hours, or I'm going to take 3 hours, or set yourself a particular goal. I need to collect 10 business cards, whatever it may be, but have a defining target or defining goal that you want to achieve. Okay, so one, be clear where you're going to go, what time you're going to go, how long you're going to go do it for, and set the target that you want to do. Okay, when you do cold calls, a lot of people they have this expectation that if I walk in, I'm just going to make a sale. Okay, so for me, I think what I've learned and what I've experienced is very rarely will you ever make a sale of the first call, let alone the second call or the third call. So the first call, really, it's an introductory call. If you get this in your mind that all you're going to do is you're going to go and meet some new business owners, you're going to find out a little bit about them, and they're going to find out a little bit about you. You're not going in there to sell anything. not because I think that little voice, what I see with people is that little voice comes up, that fear of, oh, I've got to go and sell, and how do I convince somebody to do something and I don't even know them and they don't even know me? How many of you can connect when I'm talking like that? How many of you can connect with that little voice that starts coming up? So that's not the deal. When I go out cold calling, for me, it's very clear. I have one very clear objective. My objective is to go meet people. So I'll set some goals. I go out and I say, right, today I'm going to go and collect 20 business cards. And I give myself the morning. I'm going to go collect 20 business cards, and I want to go and meet and get to know 20 people. How many of you love meeting new people? How many of you enjoy connecting with people that, if you go to a braai or something, how many of you stand in the corner and go, I'm not going to speak to someone because I don't like, most of us don't do that. Yeah, or some of us, we don't just walk in, and we're not the eccentric life of the party, but after a period of time when you get introduced to someone, you talk to them. And I don't know if you, like our household, when we leave at the end of the night, I say to my wife, hey, who did you meet tonight? Nice guy, nice woman, nice couple, whatever it might be. So in your mind, when you first go out to do cold calls, it's just go out, you're just going out to meet people, meet new business owners, connect with new people. The very first cold call for me is very simple. I limit it to no more than 5 minutes per business owner. So essentially, I set the call up like that. I in my mind, I set it up that I walk in, I want to meet the business owner, or I want to find something else about the company, and I'm going to be in there for no longer than 5 minutes. Okay. When I do that, I'm very clear on my objective. Okay. In order to get through that door, I'll go back to what I spoke about just now. You've got to get your energy up. Highest energy always wins. And when you get your energy up, and it allows you to be able to take the first couple of steps. So there's a couple of tools and techniques that you can use. If your little voice is really, really strong, the higher the level of energy you get, the lower the level of fear. So some of the things that you can do is you can sit in your car and you can just celebrate. Doors are closed, the windows are closed. Just sit there and go, yes, yes, to get your energy up. Then make a decision. Go now. Open the door, walk across the street, walk in the door. Once you're in that door, it's too late. So you're in. You use the same technique for phoning. Get that energy up. Once you've done it 4 or 5 times, it becomes easier and easier and easier. Celebrate the wins. Celebrate the opportunity that you took. Celebrate having the courage. Celebrate the fact that you got out, walked across the street, walked through the door, that you knocked on the door. Celebrate. Find in everything that you do, always find the positives to celebrate, not the negative. Don't leave there and go, well, I didn't make a sale, I didn't do this. Always just find the positive first. So you get up, you walk through the door, be clear on what you're going to say. So this is where practice comes in. So in the Sales and Leadership Mastery Program or Sales Explosion Program, I teach an elevator pitch. I teach you how to create a very quick 30-second pitch that allows you to be able to connect with someone fast and to find out if they're interested. So if I'm doing cold calls, I'll walk in the door, depending on the setting, but just, let's say I walk up and there's a receptionist. I'll walk up and I'll say, hey, good morning, my name's Barry. Sorry, who are you? And I don't know if it's a woman, she'll say, hey, my name's Mary. I go, hi, Mary. Mary, I'm from a business called Uncovering Greatness. For over 20 years, I've worked with thousands of individuals and hundreds of businesses all around the world to help them make a lot more money by increasing their sales. I've been able to get results anywhere from 20% to as much as 300%. Mary, do you think growing sales and making more money is something this business would be interested in doing? That's the deal. And then I'll wait for what comes back. And she might say, well, yes, I imagine it would. Excellent, Mary. Mary, could you tell me who would be the best person for me to speak to about growing sales? Okay? And that's the start of my cold call. Now, there's a couple of things that are going to happen. Either she's going to shut the door in my face and I'm going to have to handle some objections and walk through that process, or she's going to say, look, the person's not here, and I'll say, cool, could I have their details? Who are they? And then I know that if I've got their details and I walk out of there, boom, I've got to close. I've achieved an objective. I can now move to the next step, because the next step, I'd either pick up the phone or I'd walk back in there. I'd say, hi, Mary, I don't know if you remember me. I came in last week. Last week you said the best person to speak to about sales is John in, and the process starts going. Is this making sense and helping you guys? Any questions or comments on what I've spoken about so far? Okay, great. So keep the objective very, very simple. Keep the objective very, very simple. What happens is people complicate it too much. The outcome and the requirement very often is just so big that most people actually just feel sometimes overwhelmed that they're not even going to be able to carry it out. Just keep it simple. You know, for me on a cold call, it's very simple. I want to meet someone and get someone's details. That's the deal. I want to try and limit it there to 5 minutes, to the degree that if I walk in and I meet a business owner, I'll even say, hey, hey, Clive, nice to meet you, Barry Mitchell. Give him my elevator pitch. Ask him a question. Clive, is that something you guys would be interested in looking at, is how to grow your sales? And he might say, yes. I'd go, excellent, Clive. As I said right in the beginning, I only have a couple of minutes, so I don't want to waste any of your time. Would I be able to get your details and give you a call and come back at a more convenient time? Boom. Immediately what I've started doing is I've created some trust, because right up front I'll say, I just came in just to introduce you. Do you have a couple of minutes? Now, if he says, yes, I have a couple of minutes, and then I stay there for half an hour, then I'm breaking my agreement. Is that making sense? So right up front I'll say, Clive, as I said to you, I just wanted a couple of minutes. Could I get your business card? Really excited that you would be interested in chatting. Could I set up a more convenient time to come in and chat to you? Okay. Now, depends on where I'm at and what I have to do will depend on whether I'm going to sit down, chat lengthily. And a lot of times it's when the door's open, you've got to walk through that door, but make sure that you're getting permission from that person and they are comfortable that you're coming in. And then set yourself up to move. So if you have 5 minutes, then you're in there, speak 5 minutes, connect, set up the next meeting. There's the saying that says a meeting from a meeting, a connection from a connection. Set up the next meeting. When can you come? Could I come same time next week? When would be good for you? Great, thank you very much. Boom. Shall I contact Mary, the receptionist, who I've just met? Those type of things, you then connect, now you set up. Boom, walk outside, go next door, or the next business down, walk in, do exactly the same thing, and you just keep doing it. The more you keep doing it, the better you get. When you walk out of that, you stop. You do what we call a debrief. What happened? What worked? What didn't work? You start with what worked first. So what happened? Well, I walked across the street, got in, met this guy, Clive, got his business card. Great. What worked? Hey, what worked is I got through the door. What worked is I connected with the receptionist. What worked is I got Clive's business card. What didn't work is I got a little bit stumbled on this and this and this. Okay, good. What did I learn? Most important question, what did I learn? And what can I do better next time? Boom. Celebrate what you learned. Celebrate the win that you got. Get your energy up. Boom. Do it again. Do it again. And stick to the agreement you made to yourself. If the agreement was 10 calls, stick to the agreement. Trust comes from agreement. So the more we learn how to build trust with ourselves by honoring our agreement, the bigger we become, the more we grow our being. So and sometimes it's tough, but if you say to yourself, I'm going to make 10 calls today, honor that agreement, make 10 calls, connect to people. What you start doing is you start building your self-concept, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and it gets easier and easier and easier. So, one of the things that I'll challenge you to do, if, in fact, for all of you, but those of you that struggle with cold calls. Now, what's interesting is I meet people and they go, no, cold calls are easy. I go, okay, good. Why don't you do what I call 50 before lunch on a Wednesday? Now, if you want to know what that is, it's pretty simple. Next Wednesday, find yourself a business park or an area where people who would have businesses that would be common to what you're selling. Go park in that area. Before the end of the day, go collect 50 business cards. Knock on doors. Go door to door, street to street. Now, even if those businesses have nothing to do with your business, this is a deal in learning how to get through your little voice. Learning how to go knock on doors introduce yourself to people, practice your elevator pitch, do a little elevator pitch, connect with them, walk in, you do it over and over again. I guarantee you do that 50 times, you'll never be scared of cold calls again. If you celebrate them, if you debrief them properly, if you get your energy up, well, you'll go out, you'll be able to knock cold calls out of the park anytime you want. So, just the first thing about cold calls is take action. Too many people get too worried that it's not perfect. Take action. Walk in, go introduce yourself. The worst thing that can happen is you can get stuck in guppy mode, not know what to say, and you turn around, apologize, walk out. That's okay. You celebrate the win that you actually got through the door, and you just get better and better and better and better. And what I know about cold calls is that for the average small to medium-sized business owner, you do this on a regular basis, you'll dramatically shift your business, And it's one of the easiest, cheapest, most economical ways to go out and generate business. And not only that, it teaches you how to blast through this little voice. It teaches you how to become bigger and go take control of your own business. In my business as an entrepreneur, the one thing that I've learned and the one thing that I know is when cash flow is tight, I can make cold calls anytime I want because I've done cold calls, I've done this exercise. In fact, when I first started working with Bless Singer, I'd been in sales 17 years. The exercise that I got from him was on a Wednesday morning, but it was 100 business cards. And his deal was, what's happening when you got 100 business cards? And what a powerful, powerful lesson I had to face. So I'm able to turn that on anytime I want when I need to. Is cold call something I do all the time? No. But when I need to pick up the phone, when I need to make cold calls, when I need to, get in the grind, if you want to call it that, when it comes to sales to generate income, that ability is always there because of the practice. So, comments or questions? Questions around cold calling. So, Delene, how do you qualify a business area for your business? Okay, well, good question. So that'll come down to well, let me ask you this. How do you think you qualify a business area for your business? If you want, Delene, you can open up your mic.
Thank you, Barry. So I think it's important to go back to the target market and go back to who the people are that I'm interested in. So, for example, it will be entrepreneurs in my space specifically with a very specific focus. And so then I'll go to an area where I can find business owners mainly and go with them. That would be my approach.
Okay, good. So a particular area is what you got to do is then look at so your business is consulting, teaching, and training entrepreneurs around marketing.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So you then have to determine what is your target market size. So maybe it would be if it's corporates, then you'd have to go into an area that has fairly large driven corporates. If it's small to medium-sized businesses, then you could go into any small business park. If it's micro businesses, then you'd go into a micro business park. So I think the first step really is step one is really blast through that little voice on cold calling. Don't get too worried too much about the target market. First up, just choose an area, go introduce yourself, talk to them about introduce yourself. Hey, I'm new in the area. My name's Barry. I have a business where I work with air conditioning. If that's your business, I'm new in the area. Just wanted to come and introduce myself to some business owners, meet some people in the area. Oh, that's it. And you go through and you just start meeting people. That gets you through. Once you've got that step and you can do that, then then go and say, right, where do I now target the right business? If you're in a position right now where you're at that level, then you start creating that target market. Where is my target market? These are the customers that I need to see. Boom. And then you get very active every single day, every single week. You have some very clear target customers in your funnel who you're gonna go after. Does that answer that, Dylan?
Thank you. It adds a lot of value.
So great. So from Colin, Colin, door-to-door cold calling can take up a lot of time. How does it compare to initial contact via social media? Well, just I can only just talk from my experience. In my game, I just know this. I'll connect with people on social media, but I'm going to have to get in front of them at some stage anyway. Unless you're selling a product that is internet based, a lot of times small to medium sized businesses, people buy from people they connect with. So the point of, yes, door to door cold calling can take up a lot of time. But if you need to generate business right now, this is what I've learned, is you can do a social media campaign, you can send it out, you can do adverts a week. What you're going to do is you're going to wait for people to come to you. I don't have to wait for anyone to come to me if I can get in my car and I can go knock on doors. I can get up tomorrow morning, I can go to a business park, I can knock on doors, I can spend the whole day doing that, and I can meet 50 people. In my game, out of 50 people, maybe 10 people would be interested in what I'm doing. I do that 5 days a week. I find 50 potential customers. I'm in the game. At the same time, my social media is doing what it's doing. In sales, I see too many small to medium-sized business owners not getting out and selling. Sales is an action-driven game. And I think a lot of people are losing. Don't get me wrong. The advent of technology, social media is unbelievably powerful. But I think a lot of small to medium-sized business owners are weighing in way too much on that and waiting for that to create the results, when while that's going to create the results, they could be out connecting with people, meeting people, and creating deals. $1 million or $1 million deals are not done over the internet. They're done face-to-face, person-to-person. I'm yet to meet someone that says to me, I never met someone face-to-face. All I did was I did it over the internet on social media and closed a large $1 million deal. Even tenders, yes, you award the tender, but you've got to get into the place where people, connect with people, find out what it's all about in order to give you the best possible opportunity of being able to put the tender in place. So yeah, when you get it right, you run them together. You get a really good social media campaign. In my business, I just learned that when we're not filling rooms, when we're not putting people into our seminars, the quickest way for us to do that is we get on the phone and we get face-to-face with people, and we have a much better chance of closing than if we just ramp up our social media site. If that makes sense, Kim and Colin. Cool. Any other questions or comments around this piece of cold calling? And obviously it's, not obviously, that's not a great use of words. It's also applicable to the phone. You get on the phone every day, set up a series of calls that you're going to make every single day, 5-10 calls, have a list of potential customers, phone, speak to the receptionist, get good at speaking to the gatekeeper, finding out names of the right people. Just practice that. Same thing. I'll pick up the phone. Hi, my name's Barry Mitchell. Sorry, who am I speaking to? Mary. Hey, Mary, how's your day? Having a great day? Excellent. Mary, I don't want to take up too much of your time. And I'll do the same thing. Have my elevator pitch. Just by way of introduction, my name is Barry. I have a company called Uncovering Greatness. And I have my short 30-second elevator pitch, and I just ask her, is that something you think would benefit your business? If the sales team got a lot better, made a lot more money, do you think you'd be able to get a bonus this year? Did you get a bonus last year? It's the way how you connect with people. Did you connect that? You go, great, thanks, Mary, thanks for your feedback. Listen, who would be the best person for me to speak to? Boom, get the details. Thanks, Mary, great having you. Then I would phone back. Now, sometimes I'm not going to push to speak to the sales director or the sales manager. I go, hey, thanks, Mary, really Really appreciate your help. You have an awesome day. Chat to you later. That's it. I'd phone back 24, 48 hours later, and I'd say something like this. Hey, Mary, you probably don't remember me. My name's Barry. I have a business called Uncovering Greatness, and I spoke to you 2 days ago, and I don't know if you remember, you said if they could increase sales, there might be an opportunity of you getting a bonus this year. Are you still looking to get a bonus? Great. Could you tell me? You told me that Craig was the right guy to speak to. Is Craig in? And I connect from there. So does that add value to you? Do those tools and techniques help you? How many of you are prepared to go out in the next week and take up the challenge of going to meet 50 people and collect 50 business cards? What I do know is it takes guts, but if you want to do it, if you want to blast through that little voice, if you want to create something that will change you in sales forever, I'm going to encourage you to just set up a morning, set it out of your calendar, and just go get it done. Go knock on doors, go connect with people, and go meet people. So that is on cold calling, both on the phone and in person. So you've had enough time to think about some questions. What questions can I answer to help you with for the next 10 or so minutes? You just type them in. Oh, good. So Taku's game, Robustible, Kim, or Colin. I see Kim volunteered Colin. That's good delegation, Kim. Marlon's in, DeLeon's in. Good job. So next Tuesday, my challenge is who is prepared to report their numbers? Who's prepared to report on their numbers if you've done it by next Tuesday? That'll be really cool. Little bit of accountability. So Kim, no, he volunteered himself. Oh, okay, cool. Kim was the secretary. So remember this, Kim. Everyone in a business must sell, even the secretary. So okay, good. Dirk, well done. Dirk's gonna do it. Okay. So come on. Any questions? Any problems you're facing when it comes to sales? You know, look, how many of you realize that if you've got a problem, there's a high chance we're not unique. So we all have problems. So what's the problem? If I can't answer it, pretty sure someone on the call can. Any questions? Marlon, yep.
So Barry, I had an interesting encounter today. One that obviously, we've covered this in a couple of other webinars when it comes around asking questions, etc. So in a situation where the client is not really responsive, so, and one-worded sort of answers and things like that, how do you actually keep the questions going enough to keep the conversation going, to actually get a back and forth going before you actually, to make the conversation fruitful?
You're very broken up there, bud.
Oh,
okay. Will you say it again?
Sure. So basically, had a conversation today with a client. They were not responsive to my questions. And so my question is around how to, and as I'm asking the question, more answers are coming to my mind. So I guess it's that, well, I wasn't really clear in terms of what I could, what we could do together. But because I was going there with an open sort of book just to connect and to have a conversation. But I found myself leaving there without really feeling good that I've added value to their lives or to the conversation that we were having. I didn't feel that they were informed or anything. So I'm not sure, but how do you just sort of get someone to open up and have a conversation with you in a business context, especially if they sort of closed and one-worded answers type of thing.
Okay, good. So give me the context. Was this a cold call? Had you met the person before? How did you get in there?
Cold. Well, I got in through someone else. So that was also part of the problem.
Good.
So someone else had brought me to the meeting. So they were kind of leading it.
Yeah.
And where I came in, I was like really trying to ask questions that would help them better understand that we're the right people to deal with. So there was that sort of step back, but
okay. So the first. Okay, back again. Sorry, don't know what happened there, but anyway. So, Marlon, I think the first thing that I hear is your language. Is what I heard is. So what I wanted to do was show them that we are the right people.
Yes.
Okay, so my deal's this. I have no idea whether I'm going to be the right person. And in any conversation, the conversation starts off, the only person I'm interested in is the person I'm speaking to. Once I start connecting with them, finding out about them, and I'm truly only interested in them, then I can start thinking whether I want to show them that I'm the right person or not. Right. So in that context, you've been brought into the discussion by somebody else. I'll make a few assumptions just for the learning. Okay. But I assume they brought you in because they want to connect with the other person and you so that you guys can do business. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Basically,
okay, so the first thing is if I'm coming in with you and you brought me in and you're running the conversation and you introduce me to that connection, that's your connection. The first piece is that I always edify you. I always connect through you. So, I don't know, hey Taku, great to meet you. Marlon and I have been working together, and on the way here he told me a little bit about yourself. Okay, good. So great. And then I'd connect. I'd ask some more questions. So Marlon said that you guys have known each other for a while. I didn't ask him, but when did you guys first meet? Now what I do is start creating dialogue between the two of them, so I start finding common ground between both people.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does.
And then again, it's the same thing. Is I just want to connect. It's yes. I mean, the amount of times that someone's told me, "Hey, I need to bring you to meet this person. There's sure business there." Yeah, whatever. I always try going with the same mindset. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to uncover it for myself. And I'm just going to put them first, make it all about them. And over the course of the discussion, I'll uncover where we're going. But my expectation is, first call, I just want to connect with them and see where it goes. If the door opens that suddenly we find common ground around business, great. If the door opens that we find common ground around business and they have enough time that we talk and explore it, excellent. And a lot of it depends on the context. If you're being taken in by somebody else on how they've set up the meeting, what they come to. I've been in a number of those meetings over the years, and the context that the person that took me into the meeting set up and the outcome of what ultimately comes out are very often two very, very different things. And that just comes from talking, connecting, uncovering, and again, most important thing, make it all about them right in the beginning. Don't have the objective that, hey, I'm going to go in and I've got to show them that I'm the right customer to deal with. You don't even know if they need what you need or what you supply. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
So you go in with the mindset of, I've got to show them that I'm the right supplier, and they don't even need what you need because the guy that brought you in might not know what he's talking about or she's talking about or got the context wrong, and then there's a total mismatch.
Yeah.
To just go in there and connect with them. Does that make sense?
It does. I think I think going in with that whole idea of I'm going to connect, I'm going to be in their world is actually just amazing place to start, no matter what meeting I'm having. So I think that's huge insight. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So Kim's question is, I have a long-standing client in Cape Town. Initially, there were only two decision makers. There's a new lady who only buys one product from me. She asks for lots of ideas and suggestions, but uses ideas to shop around from other people. How do I approach this challenge? Okay, great. So the first question I ask him, are you 100% certain that she uses your ideas to shop around from other people? That would be the one thing. If she does, my question would be is, how often do you meet her? When have you been to see her? What type of relationship are you building with her? And as that relationship grows, those are the type of things you as is, you know. And for me, as that relationship grows, I would put those things on the table. You know, hey Mavis, you and I have been working together for 6 months. Can I put something on the table that I'd like to get some feedback on? And then I would ask, is it? This is how I feel. I feel that you buy this product from me, and you're happy with it. And then a lot of times we have a discussion. You'll ask me for ideas, but you don't come back to me. Is there any reason why you do that? But in order to be able to do that, you've got to have built some trust and a relationship with that supplier, with that buyer. So does that make sense? Does that answer that for you, Kim? Okay, cool. So in part, what part is not answered? Why don't you just unmute yourself and then you can speak? Makes it a lot easier.
Hi, Barry.
You guys are all assuming that I can read properly. I'm a salesman, I speak. Okay, cool, Kim. So what part is not answered?
Can you hear me, Barry?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Firstly, she's based in Cape Town, so she's only in the last sort of 4 years come through to Johannesburg once, and that's when she's helping to set up for a function over here. And I've been to, that she said to me, no, they're not going to get anything from anyone else. And then I'll actually pitch up at the event and see boxes with another company's label on, and some of those things are actually things that we do sell. Previously, when I didn't give any catalogs, they used to come to me more regularly. But now that they've got the catalogs, now they hardly ever come back to me. And and what they'll also do is, if they've got very, very little time, then they'll say, oh, Kim, we quickly have to do a brief, and we've got to submit tomorrow morning. And then I'll spend hours putting together different ideas for them, and then I just don't get them.
So then if you have the right relationship with them, I would suggest go and as is it with it and say, look, first of all, thank you very much. I really appreciate the business that you give me, but I just need to, put something on the table because this is how I feel. It's not an issue, but I'd just like to understand, if there's something that I'm not doing or something that I could do better in order to allow me to do that. So you do this, this, and this. Is there any reason? Put it on the table.
Okay,
it's in the way that you do it that'll create the response. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Okay, good. So Delian, we had a pitch this week with a pharmaceutical company, focused on earning the right, and then started to ask questions after I connected. They were very averse to questions. I was in the pitch with a senior partner in the pharmaceutical industry, and after she gave me feedback that maybe I should not ask questions in a pitch. My take from this was that this particular company was not a fit for us. Would you have approached this differently? So, Delian, I'm going to ask you if you think I would have approached that differently. Simple answer, yes or no?
No.
No, because for me, the art of sales is asking questions. It's getting in their world, it's connecting with them, and most people go in and they have this prepared pitch. Now, if you had had a previous meeting or previous meetings and you had asked questions and you'd connected and you'd uncovered what they really needed and they had asked you to come and present on a solution, very different, because you've connected, you've uncovered, you found out, and now you're coming back and you can connect context of the previous meetings to the solution. Does that make sense? Then you can give a pitch and say, hey, so based on our previous meetings, based on the question, boom, this is what we can do. Does that make sense, Delian? Cool. Yes. So no previous meetings, just a brief. So it's a brief from them. Yes, the corporates are very strict at times. However, if you connect with them and you connect with them in their world and you ask the questions around the brief, you know, what's the reason for doing this? Why would you do this? What's it going to get you? Are you open to look at other ideas or other ways? Questions, and see where it goes. For me, questions are the answers, and the more you connect with people authentically, honestly, in their world, make it all about them, the more they connect with you. And sometimes simply you said it. That particular client was not a fit, didn't connect with you, and that's okay. They'll connect with someone else. You go on, find business with someone else. There's lots of business in the world, and you create it from there. So Dirk says, I have a 4-step process used to gradually identify the company, persons, and associated needs. 4 calls and a questionnaire. Dirk, very hard for me to answer that without all the context around it. Again, it depends on what you want to achieve and how you want to do it. You know, sometimes I'll get a connection in 1 or 2 meetings. Sometimes it'll take 10. It all depends on time and timing. Whatever it is, you've got to spend time. And the other side is, in order to close the deal's closed when the timing is right for the client, not for you. So, you know, personally, and it's just the nature of my personality, I don't spend very much time researching companies before I go in, because I don't want to have any preconceived ideas about what I think I know about them. I just, when I go into a meeting, you know, the basic that I know is what they do, what sort of products they do, what industry they're in, and that's about it. And I'll go, and for me, it's about unpacking where they're at and really finding out about them. So, you know, yeah, maybe I'll go back to it. If it's working for you, then keep doing it. If it's not working, tweak it, change it. So, you know, I have a very structured 6-step process, but in the process, each step could be done a couple of times. So, you know, it's not like, hey, step 1, well, there's 6 steps, you know, find customers. I might have to go to a company finding the right people 4 or 5 times until I really get to the person who's at the bottom of that. So hopefully that shed some light on that, Dirk. So Delian, yes, absolutely no previous meetings, just a brief, very corporate and strict. So guys, did you get value out of tonight? Did you learn something, and did that help you? Just yeah, you just give me a yes or got value or no. Great, thanks. So any other questions or comments before I wrap it up? So those of you that are interested in October 18th, 19th, 20th of October, let me just check my diary. 18th, 19th, 20th of October, I'm running the last public sales and leadership mastery program in Joburg. It is 18th, 19th, and 20th. It'll probably be at the Wanderers Club in Joburg. It's a 2.5-day event. And Marlon, do you have the link and the details if anyone's interested in if you can just post that up? Hey, do you have the details for the Sales and Leadership Mastery preview?
Getting them now.
Okay, cool. So Marlon will put those up, those of you that are interested. And then on my website, we have a couple of Sales and Leadership Mastery preview free events coming up in the next couple of weeks. You know, you're more than welcome to come into those, come and get a feel of how I teach, what we teach, and get some learning out of that. And then the other thing was those of you that have done the Sales Explosion program before, we have a redo rate for people that like to do it again. And I'd encourage you, come back, do it again. You'll get a very, very different learning. So any questions or comments before we wrap it up? If any of you are in Botswana, I have an event, Sales and Leadership Mastery Program coming up in Botswana in September on the I think so 21st and 22nd of September. So if anyone is in Botswana, 21st and 22nd of September, let us know if you're interested in that. So just want to thank you for sharing the evening with me. Truly hope you got value. Looking forward to see you in one of our rooms coming up soon. And have a great week. Have a good day on Thursday. Get some rest or go make some sales. And remember, making sales, generating income is your choice. It's in your hands. So thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. And I'm going to turn it back over to Marlon.
Thanks, Barry. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are going to have, for those of you who are not aware, we are going to have another webinar just now at 8:15, where Barry's friend, an expert on cryptocurrency, will be talking to us about cryptocurrencies and helping us understand that a little bit better. So that should be quite a bit of fun. That'll be at 8:15 for about 45 minutes. So if you would like to join us there, I suggest use the same code to access that webinar. So thank you very much for joining us and have a good evening. By the way, the recording will be available. You'll be emailed tomorrow morning. Thank you. Bye.